welcome to Championship Sunday here at the Stu Sells 1824 Halifax Classic. This morning we have our semifinals matchup here. We are broadcasting the one of the two women's semifinals that's proudly sponsored by Neon Train. Teams that will be playing are Team Quillian from the Curl Moncton Club in Moncton, New Brunswick versus Team Morrison from Scotland out of the Stirling area. My name is Kevin Ouellette, and I'll be here to commentate with you as we go through these semifinals.
So as we get going here,
Both teams finished with a 4-1 record to earn their spot into the semifinals, and a draw to the button was held to see who would get hammer, and that was earned by Team Quillian. As you can see, Team Morrison called for the first rock into the house, and Team Quillian is looking just to keep it simple, play a hit and stick, as teams get comfortable with the ice as they go through. Team Morrison's lineup is throwing lead stones is Sophie Jackson. They do a slightly different approach to their lineup. Sophie does throw lead stones, but then you'll see her soon after her rocks. She'll go down to the other end and call the game. So she acts as the skip for the team, but throws the lead rocks. Second stone is Sophie Sinclair. Third stones is Jennifer Dodds, and then the person throwing the last two, the 4 stones, is Rebecca Morrison. And on Team Quillian, Kate Vandenboer throws lead stones. They have a traditional lineup. Throwing second stones today is Marie Christensen from Halifax. She is filling in for their regular third, Jennifer Armstrong. Throwing third stones is Erin Carmody, and of course the skip is Sylvie Quillian. Jennifer Armstrong, the team wants to do a shout out. She is currently competing at the Canadian Mixed Doubles qualifier for the trials to see who will represent Canada at the next Winter Olympics. And her partner, Tyrell Griffith, they qualified out of the A event and now will be in a quarterfinal later this morning to earn their spot at the trials. So they congratulate her on qualifying and wish her all the best through the championship round. So the first end here is being fairly clean. Teams just exchanging hits.
She's like thrown nice, but then that's her default.
As Marie throws her first stone, just looking for a hit and stick or hit and roll into the rings. Well executed by all 4 people on the team. In other semifinal action on sheet 4, and we will provide updates as things go on. So the other semifinal on sheet 4 is the second women's semifinal between Team Henderson, who is also from Scotland, and Team Christina Black, who is right here locally from the Halifax Curling Club. In men's semifinal action on sheet 1, we have Team Jong from South Korea versus Colton Steele, who is a local team from Halifax. And the second semifinal is Team Sam Moybrook from Whitby, Ontario versus Team Julien Tremblay from Quebec.
Yeah, it was a 9. Yeah.
As Jennifer Dodds prepares to throw her first stone. the execution has been seamless so far from all players, so the strategy hasn't changed, just keeping it very simple, very clean, just getting a feel for the ice. The format here at the 1824 Halifax Scotia Halifax Classic is for the women's event. There's 2 pools of 6 where they took the top 6 teams. The 2 best records got buys into the semifinals, and then the final 4 teams played in the quarterfinal last night. So that's how the setup was. Team Morrison was one of the teams at 4-1 that did get a bye into the final, and Team Quillian also had a 4-1 record after the round robin. They played in the quarterfinal last night and was successful against Team Laurie St. George out of Quebec.
Let's go for nose then. So like here at 10?
What have you been given?
I gave this for Jen's last one.
Okay.
This tournament here in Halifax has been an annual event for the past 7 years for the men's event, and then 4 years ago the women's event was introduced. So this is obviously the fourth year for the women's, and an event like this is not possible without the generous support of sponsors. And we like to highlight the presenting sponsors for the men's event, Steel Subaru, and for the women's event, Neon Train. And then we have partner sponsors. We have the Curling Store, Crombie Wright, Scotia Square, the Murphy Hospitality Group, the PEI Brewing Company, and our supporting sponsors, Stanhope Simpson Insurance and Stu Sells Realty. So thank you very much for your generous support and helping promote our sport and provide an opportunity for these elite athletes to excel in their journey. So skipper Rebecca Morrison was successful in her first throw to play the nose hit. So Team Quillian Skip is looking to play the hit and try to roll into the rings. A nose hit would not have them into the rings, so she's looking to roll in, so that forcing Team Morrison to play a hit.
9-8.
Well thrown rock. Sweepers just had to clean it to put it into the right spot. Forcing Rebecca Morrison to throw her a hit on her last rock. She'd be looking to hit and stick. Brushers get on it very early. And the rock does overcurl slightly and rolls out. So this gives an opportunity for Sylvie Quillian and her team to put the broom in a certain spot where they will take advantage. The rock will be thrown through the rings, but they are going to use this as an opportunity to get a read for how the rock will react in this path.
Inside out, just to see what it does. My intern? Yeah, your intern. Pause it. I'll get time on it.
So Sylvie elected throwing the out-turn, the counterclockwise rotation, just to see how the rock does curl towards the boards with a light takeout weight. So there we have the first end, no score, blank end. Team Quillian will retain the hammer going into the second, and we'll be right back after these short messages.
We started Neon Train to help get small and medium-sized organizations online to transform their learning and make their programs more effective. Our team of learning experts will work with you to understand your budget, project scope, and learning goals. It's so rewarding when our clients say to us, I now have more time to focus on my business. I now have more time to put into my learners. I now have more time to spend with my family. Reach out today and start your organization's learning transformation.
Welcome back as we start the second end here at the Stu Sales 1824 Halifax Classic with our women's semifinal between Team Quillian and Team Morrison. Blank end after the first, so Team Quillian retains hammer. We'll see if the teams now, after they have one end under their belt, that if they change up the strategy, whether they get a little bit more offensive, a little bit more aggressive in their play, put more rocks in. This is Team Morrison's fifth event. They played in 4 previous events, most notably at a Euro Super Series Spiel. They finished 3rd place, and then at the AMJ Campbell Shorty Jenkins Classic in Cornwall, Ontario, they had a quarterfinal finish. So good kudos to them. They are currently ranked number 20 in the World Curling Tour standings. So Team Morrison not changing up their strategy from the first end. Throw the first rock into the rings without having the hammer. And Sylvia has countered with a hit and roll, called for a hit and roll to the 12 foot. Did overcurl. They got a nose hit. They'll still be they'll still accept that.
Getting that to Sam doesn't have to do anything special here.
Provide a hair more.
Seeing how that rock is along the center line, Team Morrison is going to remove it, try to do a nose hit right there.
A number of great things going on here at the event. One of those things includes the silent auction. A number of great options, a number of great items that you can bid on, including the one, the only, Thelma the Duck, who's joining me here in the booth, just by myself. Thelma is kind enough and gracious enough to join me.
So that yellow rock for Team Morrison did roll slightly to the outside, and it is high in the rings in the top 8 foot, almost, not quite fully in the 8 foot. So Team Quillian has opted to throw a corner guard here. This is one of the strategies that we call the delayed corner. It's an opportunity for the team with hammer to put up a corner guard that cannot be removed without having so many guards out front. Because of that result, Team Morrison, skipped by Sophie Jackson, they have elected to throw up a center guard, as that red rock cannot be removed from play.
I don't think he quite did. Not quite on the center line, so that is removable, or removable.
no, no, no.
Who's watching this maybe a hair big.
Perfectly executed. Puts on the center guard onto her red rock, but now that we are no longer in the 5-rock free guard zone, that rock is eligible to be removed from play, and that's what Sylvie Quillian has asked Marie Christensen to take care of. And I'd like to welcome to commentate with me Mr. Glenn McLeod. How you doing, Glenn?
Doing great, Kevin. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Yeah, hard for a piece. That's fine.
Knife, dump, sweep, try to get it to move.
Pretty straightforward first end, Kev.
Very straightforward first end. First rock went in, and then it was hit, and then we had a free throw through the rings to get a feel for what a path does on Sylvie's final rock.
Exactly. I left my water bottle inside.
Are available here at 9-4. Halifax is the East Coast.
So Team Morrison electing to play it a little bit safe. She could have played a rock into the rings, but she opted to peel out the corner guard. So we're looking right now, Glenn, it's looking like we're potentially going to have another blank end here. A little bit of offense was tested, but no one was willing to put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, it's second stones, last shots. Not surprising that might start from scratch next end to try to generate something with the first few rocks. A little conservative, but they look like they had intention there. The strong hitting team, from what I can see here in the first couple shots. So.
Yeah, both teams. Yeah, you're right, Glenn. Both teams are very, very strong with the hit game. But I'm sure you'll see that they're very strong with the draw game too here shortly.
Yeah, let's get a guard and play, and
It's
we'll
good.
find out.
It's going to be a very good semifinal. Team Quillian out of the Curl Moncton Club in Moncton, New Brunswick. This is their third event of the season, so they haven't put in too many tournaments compared to some of the other teams, but very successful so far. Their first event was the Lady Monctonian at their home club, and they went undefeated and took first place in that event. And then their second event was just last weekend here in Halifax at the Mayflower Curling Club, the Dave Jones Cashspiel, where they qualified out of the A event and finished with a quarterfinal spot.
Yeah, lots of experience on Team Quillian. They don't need as many reps as everybody else. They might be going a little bit on experience and taking that as their advantage, playing a bit of a lighter schedule.
So the clean house play is continuing here as teams are exchanging hits. Kate Vandenborre is really working the broom hard to try to save her shooter. And she did a great job as they removed the yellow stone and rolled to the side of the 12-foot. Changed the path for Team Morrison. Skipped by Sophie Jackson.
Yeah, even though it's pretty simple, you can have a little fun with the blanks, trying to move rocks around in the house. If you think the opposition skip has a preferred turn, try to make them not throw that turn. So a little bit of strategy and cat and mouse can be had even on a blank end.
Good, Jed. Run pretty nicely. Good stuff.
As Erin Carmody prepares to throw her final stone here in the second end.
If we roll out.
seems content to keep the rock in the 12-foot on the out-turn side if you're a righty.
For any of our fans that are local and listening to this and want to come down and watch it live, the Halifax Curling Club is in the south end of Halifax, just past the downtown and off the harbor here at 948 South Bland Street. Admission is free, so bring the family and come and enjoy watching these elite curlers play live. It's
And
a fun
brunch,
event.
Kev?
Pardon me?
There's a brunch this morning?
There is a brunch this morning, but I believe it was prepaid tickets. So
Okay.
yeah, so don't quote me on that. So don't come for brunch and then there's no food available.
Bring a backup plan.
Yeah.
But there will be Caesars and mimosas available one way or another.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
All good on that front.
Get back up. Get back up. Really good throw. Good throw. This nose is good.
The thing about the yellow behind the corner guard is the red is available to run back, so Sam has that opportunity. Julie looking at where to get that third stone so that Sam can't bury one, can't hide one very easily.
So Sylvie will want to get a feel for the ice with normal weight and then take a little less ice and throw a little more weight on a peel if it's in the same spot. But it's not going to be in the same spot. So they weren't sweeping that very much, which maybe not says Sylvie likes to throw an in-turn peel.
Very possible.
Yeah.
As we come down to the final skip stones,
Yeah, more than that.
Rebecca Morrison will be looking to play hit and stick.
It's interesting to see Sophie Jackson calling the game. You see a few more creativity with who calls the game in lineups now. It just used to
Absolutely,
be
yeah.
always a skip, and then it was pretty unique when a third might call it and someone else throws last rocks. And then Russ Howard called the game from second stone back in the day when Gushu went to the Olympics. And
Yes,
then
in 2006.
now it's a free-for-all.
Now it's a free-for-all.
Doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Just pick your best
A lot
lineup.
of different variations.
Good tip.
So a successful executed rock by Rebecca Morrison. Now Sylvie Quillian looking to hit and roll away to maintain handle, hammer.
She'll need to maintain the handle on this too.
Yes, that
Yep.
is so true. So maintain hammer going into the third end. But as we know in sport and in curling, nothing is a given.
Nothing
No,
is a
no
given.
guarantees here. They still have to execute this properly.
Yeah, a lot of games have been decided either on a flash or a bonk on a blank attempt. I shouldn't even have said that out loud while she's throwing. Like to hear clean.
As they've asked Kate Vandenborg to keep this rock straight, that's a very good sign that they are on target, and yes, they are. So a perfect executed shot by Team Quillian. They hit and roll out to blank the second end. So after two ends, there is no score, and Team Quillian will retain hammer going into third, and we'll be right back after these short messages.
We started Neon Train to help get small and medium-sized organizations online to transform their learning and make their programs more effective. Our team of learning experts will work with you to understand your budget, project scope, and learning goals. It's so rewarding when our clients say to us, I now have more time to focus on my business. I now have more time to put into my learners. I now have more time to spend with my family. Reach out today and start your organization's learning transformation.
Welcome back. Welcome back to this semifinal draw here at the at the Stu Sells 1824 Halifax Classic at the Halifax Curling Club. We are beginning the third end. No score, 2 blank ends for the first two by Team Quillian, so they have retained hammer. Now, Glenn, let's see if more offense will be brought forward now the teams had a couple of ends under their belt.
Yeah, we'll get a couple of chances here. If just a tight guard could generate a little offense, or even if it's in, if Quillian wants to put up a corner guard, we could get some offense. But we're looking like a guard. Really important to get to the center line now, Kev.
Yeah, so that rock is not touching the center line, which is a new rule as of last year. It's called the no-tick rule. If it was touching the center line, that rock could not be removed off the center line until after the 5th stone, but it is not touching it, so Team Quillian does have the option to either play a tick shot to move it off the center line, off the center area, or draw around, and they've elected to draw around. Quick update in our other semifinal games on sheet 1 in the men's semifinals between Team Steele and Team Jong. It was a blank in the first end, and they're currently just finishing up the second. On sheet 2, we've got Team Muybrook versus Team Tremblay, and Team Muybrook scored 2 points in the first end. They as well are just finishing up their second. And over on sheet 4 between Team Henderson and Team Black, the first end was blank. They are started the third, but they have not put up the score for the second end. So we will update you as soon as we get any results.
So 3 of the semis have a blank end. Our game has 2 blank ends. A little bit of playing it safe or trying to understand the conditions in these key games. Sometimes see that.
And sometimes it's a little bit of a cat and mouse, trying to see what the opposition is thinking at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. And they're so good at hitting. You can get some rocks in play, and then 2 rocks later, there's no rocks in play. So it just depends how things play out.
So an unforced error on Kate Vandenberg's first one for Team Quillian, going through the rings. And now you saw that Sophie Jackson drew around to the top 4 foot. Almost got it fully buried, but a solid 2/3 buried.
Like 13-8 maybe.
Hello, welcome back. We're here in end number 3.
Key on this is don't overthrow it. You want to stay in front of that yellow rock. The call was to tap it, but a freeze is fine. A little tap is fine. It doesn't need to be a big tap.
Yeah, the ice conditions this week have been fantastic. Lots of curl, great speed. Adam McCarran, who's the head ice technician here, does a fantastic job. And, commentating different games throughout this week, Glenn, one thing I really noticed is that your weight control is absolutely key to making your shots, like it is on most cases. But on this ice particular, if you even upped it by 1.5 foot, it does not even curl close to where you're expecting it to. It makes you look like you've missed it a lot worse than you actually did. So weight control is absolutely key in these ice conditions.
Yeah, when you have great ice, you get challenged in all parts of the game. You need to be precise, but the sweepers can do their thing. There's lots of curls, so you can get at rocks in many different positions. Your guards need to be in the exact right spot. Adam and the team have done a fantastic job. One of the things I've noticed is not a lot of stopwatch looking, because what you get in practice is what you're going to get in the 8th end and maybe even the 9th end.
So we got a little bit more action in the house this end, which is great to see. Team Morrison's lying 2 yellow stones into the 4-foot area, but they are exposed. And Sylvia has asked Marie to play either hit and flop under the center guard or even a possible double. They have jumped this rock very quickly out of her hands. Yeah, and unfortunately, an unforced error, that rock over curled and took off the center guard. So now this gives the opportunity for Team Morrison to throw a better guard on her 2 yellow rocks.
Yeah, that definitely was an unforced error. So now Team Morrison is going to have yellow guard on top of yellow shot rocks. So even a run back, not quite as easy as if it was the opposition guard.
Just a quick update on sheet 4 as we were waiting for the score to be hung for the second end. Team Henderson from Scotland scored a single point against Team Black from Halifax, and so it's currently 1-0 for Team Henderson after 2 ends.
You can go then! No fly! You can go! This needs to... Carl!
This one's got to get across center. Some of it will be across center. Okay. It's okay. Just okay. A little more would have been better.
Well, that guard is better than it was previously.
Yes.
It is covering partial rock, partial of their stone. So that makes Marie's takeout here a lot more precise. I don't see that because of the angle of the yellow rocks, the double's not there. So I'm assuming they're just going to try and try to get as close to the nose as possible and stay in front of the other yellow stone.
Yeah. Same MO as we saw before. Is you really want to stay in front of the yellow if you can. You really need to stick around. You also need to get by the guard.
Yeah. So once again, Marie Christensen's rock. They called it out of her hand to sweep right away, and it did overcurl and touch the guard, but did not remove it from play, which could become problematic. That might take away the Sylvie's draw pass for a possible single point here.
Yeah, exactly. That's that ticked guard's not helping for a number of reasons.
As Jennifer Dodds, the third stone thrower for Team Morrison, throws. Looking at the resume of this team as individuals, there are many European Championships medalists and many times Scottish champions, but Jennifer herself is an Olympic gold medalist with Team Eve Muirhead at the most recent Olympic Winter Games.
That's a pretty good credential.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad.
Look, you can see why. The perfect guard.
Yeah, so some excellent execution from Team Morrison and a couple of unforced errors from Team Quillian that has put Team Quillian chasing now. So they've got some work to do to try to score a single point. The one thing they do have in their favor is that they do have the last rock this end.
They do. You can double peel, try to open it up. It looks like she's going to go with that.
They must have heard you talking because as soon as you said it, that's what they called.
Yeah, no, I think she was slightly ahead of me. But maybe I'll have to tone it down a little bit. We can hear, they can't hear us, right? Yeah, just a bit maybe. Yeah, it's a good call. Kind of to what you were saying with that other guard that isn't covering anything but is blocking a path. You really want to have two options available to you throughout the end as things are unfolding.
So a slight overcurl. Removed the one center guard, but her shooter did not roll very far, so it's still acting as a guard on those yellow stones. So Sophie Jackson here is just going to ask Jennifer to replace that center guard. Perfectly right on the center line would be a perfect spot.
Yeah, the clearing of the guards and the hitting in the rings has not been working out for Team Quillian. Now Dodds is in a position where she really only has to make a half shot. Like, you only have to half guard the hole and it'll accomplish what they need to accomplish.
I agree. This one's just sliding in deeper than they were asking for, but a good communication by the front end as to where it was going to end, and a good adjustment, a good audible by skip Sophie Jackson. That rock did end up in a fairly decent spot.
Not bad, not bad. Left the Rays triple takeout. I think they're okay leaving shots like that, though.
Yes.
Yep.
So Aaron Carmody indicating to Skip Sylvie that she can see probably just a little bit more than half of that yellow stone.
I think she called 10-5.
This is a very patient shot. Hit the top one, stick around. Suspect T. Morrison would put another guard up, and then Quillian would have to figure out how to get at those rocks in the 4-foot.
Yes.
But there's a couple rocks to come, so it can happen. The other shot would be the Rays takeout on the yellow one. Don't worry about the triple, but just clear the guard and possibly one of the yellows. Get close to the same thing.
That is the best best result they could have got out of that shot.
Yeah.
That's
a great
very,
shot.
very well done. Aaron Carmody makes a hit and roll underneath the other corner / center guard. Pushes one rock out of the rings and another one off to the edge of the 12-foot. So, lying second shot after that is an excellent result.
Yeah, really impressive that they were able to get one of the rocks off the 4-foot too. That's like you say, that's a great outcome. So now
that forces Team Morrison and Rebecca Morrison's first throw here to put it in the right spot.
Yep. Decision time. You could try to hit the red. They're going to go right in. I think this is the best chance. It's a little easier shot and it's a little better outcome. So good.
Yes.
Good factors to say pick this shot.
And they've thrown this rock down this path probably about 6 times now, so they know exactly how it's going to run.
Got to come across that yellow guard. It's going to be
They
close.
are working hard to make a curl. Well done by Sophie Sinclair. Now, Glenn, maybe I missed the call. Were they calling to come that deep?
They were calling to come right on top of that yellow rock. They would have liked it a little further over behind the guard. Sylvie's got the same shot they just played and can get both those yellow rocks moving. We could go from yellow sitting 2 behind cover to red sitting 2 behind cover here in short order.
Absolutely. I'm looking right behind the hack here right now, and Sylvie and Team Quillian, they can see almost all of that yellow stone, the foliage. So
Crazy, so mine should run the same as yours, I would think.
Yeah. You're positive too, right, Aaron?
as the team discusses the weight and how the rock is going to run down this path, and
Nose it if we can.
also about the rotation. They're asking Aaron, you're very positive that she's talking about the rotation, positive rotation that really affects the how the rock will run down the ice.
Yeah, and important that everyone keeps track of that, and if you can make it happen, try to throw the same releases all through the lineup. Looked pretty positive.
Here that rock comes over to the center line. This is looking very close. She makes the hit and roll.
Keep going. Nice.
As Marie sweeps it, it looks like it has moved back far enough, so red is counting 2. Would you agree with that, Glenn?
Yeah, I think it's 2 red. This is one of the quickest turnarounds, a 4-point swing that I've ever seen. other
Yes.
than a quadruple takeout. That's a testament to the patience. I think it was Third's first shot or second shot maybe, but you could have tried to gone for a high, hard raise triple, but chose to pick away at it, and look how it's turned out.
That's where curling is similar to golf. You know, after a bad golf shot, all it takes is one good one to get right back into it.
Yeah, you slam your club and you move on. Whoops, oh no, you don't slam your broom. I forgot about that.
You throw it in the water, don't you?
Yeah, something like that.
Trying to make it like just to piss it off. Okay. Okay. So like this into it. Okay.
So Sophie Jackson and her team of Rebecca Morrison, Jennifer Dodds, and Sophie Sinclair, they're looking at the yellow run back with try to make the double.
Like 10 half, Becca?
You
This should be
can make the double. It actually is kind of tough. These angles are a little tough for the race double. It's makeable though, in a low percentage way, but the laws of physics might allow even a double jam on the two yellows. You might be fine for the double angles, but the yellows could catch both red rocks, which would be unlucky.
But we hope to be proven wrong and see this happen, right?
I am
The
not
double.
interested in seeing that happen. I am. Let's hope for a good shot here, as we do for all the shots. No favorites.
Well, no favorites. But what I mean is, they call a double. You know what we don't think is there. I'd like to be proven wrong. You know, like show me, prove me on it. I don't see that double.
I've done a couple of games, Kev, commentating, and my quota of being proven wrong is filled and then some.
Oh, okay.
Oh. You get a feel for what I was talking about. But
Yeah, yes.
pretty good shot there.
That was a very good result. Red is still counting one, I believe, as they look. Red's definitely second shot for sure, but it's going to be close to see who is shot rock. Either way, if that yellow rock at the top 12 foot is shot rock, it is exposed.
Exposed. You may
Have
need to roll a bit to beat it.
You would have to roll in a bit, yeah. So they're thinking along the same lines I am. They just want to make sure the rocks are close, so they just want to make sure they're going to play the hit and try to roll in to bite a piece of the 8 foot for a score of 2.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we have played this spot quite a bit too. Yeah.
You really want to play the draw if you can, but
Well, the
whoever's
draw is
got the
definitely
best
a
eyes on
much
the team.
easier shot.
Yeah.
Degree of difficulties is decreased by throwing the draw, but I know I've made that mistake thinking I was shot when I wasn't in the past.
yes, you definitely. Usually, there's someone on the team with proven good eyesight that you'd lean on if it's close. They seem to be pretty confident that the yellow one is shot rock.
It's too close to call who shot.
Okay, just a little hit roll in.
Pin roll in.
You know, just for any fans that have came in after the introductions, you'll see that Marie Christensen's holding the broom for Sylvie Quillian for this game. Now she's throwing second stones. Their regular third, Jennifer Armstrong, is currently competing at the mixed doubles qualifier in Abbotsford, BC. Her and her partner, Tyrell Griffith, they qualified out of the A event and are playing in the quarterfinals this morning to earn a spot into the Canadian mixed doubles qualifier to see who will go to the Olympic Winter Games in that discipline. And those championships will be happening here on December 30th and January 4th later this year at Liverpool, Nova Scotia. What a beautiful executed shot. Perfect hit and roll for a count of 2 for Team Quillian. And we will take a short break after this and recoup and refresh and come back with some more commentating.
Hey, curling fans, I'm standing here in front of Sheet Stew here at the High Park Club, and I just want to let you know that I'm so excited to sponsor the sport of curling, to help curling out. So you can go to stewcurls.com, see all my events, see the Stew Sell series, but you know what? I also sell real estate as well. So you need to buy a house, list a house, condo, rental, business. Look, give me Stu a call.
Welcome back after an exciting finish to the third end. What looked like Team Morrison controlling that end. Couple of great shots by Team Quillian at the third in the skips position, and it was a deuce for Team Quillian. So they lead 2-0 after the third end. As we update some other scores on sheet 4 between Team Henderson and Team Black. Team Black did score a deuce in the third end, so they now lead 2-1. On sheet 2 between Sam Weybrook and Team Julien Tremblay from Quebec. Team Tremblay scored 3, so there's a lot of offense happening in that game. So they scored 3 in the second end to lead 3-2. And on sheet 1 between Team Steele from Halifax and Team Jung from South Korea. In the second end, Team Jung scored 3 points, so they're up 3-0. So with the lead here now for Team Quillian, they elected just to throw the rock into the rings and kind of see what Team Morrison is going to do.
Looks like corner guard is the call. You want to get it just past the E in corner store. If you can get it to the little dot there. What is that, a quarter? Looney, a toonie? The dots?
Yes, the dots, yeah, I believe they're a quarter, yes. Those dots that you see in the ice are for mixed doubles competitions.
Oh, okay.
For placing the stones, for people that are not aware of what those are.
So they're in the ice. There's no sense going out to try to get them?
Not till after the event is over.
Okay.
And don't tell Adam. So as the corner guard goes up, and then Team Quillian, they've asked for a center guard on the rock in the house. It is still in the 5-rock rule, as the guards surround the nice curling store logo, which is one of our partner sponsors for this week's tournament.
This is one of the decisions teams are faced with these days. You've got a corner. You could use it and draw around it, or you come in and follow or try to get on top of the one that's on the center line. It's probably 50-50 in what you see teams do.
In my experience and with a lot of coaches I've worked with and mentors that I've had the privilege to work with, there's different philosophies. So what is your team DNA? What is your team strategic DNA? Some say if you put up a corner guard, then why don't you use it? So some say, maybe it's just a setup for a shot later in the end. So different ways how the team likes to play out what their plan is going forward.
Just come down a bit.
Probably like a 15.
It's one of the nice things about our game. There's in some ways there's some predictability, but in a lot of ways there's not a lot of predictability.
No, it's just each end can be a snow globe. Just shake it up and see what happens. Been asked a few times, what's your plan for this end? It's like, I don't know. It depends on if the lead makes or misses the shot.
Absolutely.
We'll figure it out from there.
Most teams' plans are what they're doing with the first 2 rocks, and then it's an analysis after that to where they ended up and what the opposition did, and then you have to adapt.
Yeah, it's not quite as random as we're describing it, because there is coaching and there is game plans and there are scenarios set up if you can remember all that stuff.
Yes.
But a lot of it becomes the rhythm and instinct that you get as you're seeing the setup as it's sitting in front of you.
So Sophie Sinclair looking to run back a guard or possibly just peel it off.
Very good. Good, so.
Didn't make the full double peel, but much better outcome. That red rock that was covering the 2 rocks in the rings is now pushed off to the side.
Little bonus corner guard too out of that. So now a couple places to hide. Rocks will be coming into the rings, and one of them may end up behind either of those corner guards. Bring this as tight as possible to get the line. Oh, don't want a 4. All right.
I believe it's a little tighter than they wanted that rock. Does give an opportunity for Team Jackson to play a hit and roll under one of those corner guards and have the rocks in the rings. It also makes the little run back, the red, yellow, red run back a little easier as well.
Yeah, the little short run back and roll behind the corner guard, that would be a nifty shot. Or you could just hit and roll straight behind the corner guard on the other side and save that yellow-red for later.
Very tough to make this bad, but I don't mind this. They like it as well. I like it then. Like 11.
Now, Glenn, would you ever, this is your second's last stone. Would you ever possibly ignore those and draw around one of those corner guards? Set up a possible 3-ender maybe?
Right now, I like this call. Just get one behind the corner. Really finding second shot. If you can get second shot buried, then all of a sudden you're got that deuce in play, and you work your way around trying to get shot rock, but you'll have lots of time to get shot rock. So I like this for now. You could draw around it all. That'd be a little aggressive at this stage, maybe even at this end and this stage of this end. If it was the 6 and you were down 3 and you really needed to generate, there's a good case for that.
Excellent execution there. They do get the hit and roll, not fully under the corner guard, but still, still into the rings, but they push their yellow rock up closer to the red one, so it's now frozen on top. So that's a very good result.
Yep, no double.
And no double. So now Team Quillian has to be careful here as she asks Aaron Carmody to play a hit and roll off of the shooter from the last shot. The yellow rock that's in the top 12 foot. So Sophie Jackson asking for a hit and roll behind their yellow corner guard now.
I like this call. A lot of teams might try the straight back, get rid of both reds. This is a little more aggressive and patient. It's a good call.
Very well executed. Nice hit and roll behind. Did roll a little farther, so it's not protected by the corner guard, but they'll still be very happy with that result.
Yeah, it's a good shot that keeps Team Quillian out into the wings, and it's a bit of a tough shot to sit 2 red after this. It left a bit of a crosshouse double, but I don't think it's worth it. Let's see what Carmody does here.
Now that rock did roll towards the outside. From our angle, it looks like it is out of the rings, but we cannot confirm whether that's the case or not. So now this will change the focus for Team Morrison to play on the yellow frozen stone. And as she says, removing the stone and rolling her shooter behind the red corner guard.
Yeah, if the shooter goes behind the red, it may leave a fairly straightforward double on the 2 yellows. Oh, we're going to have a consultation.
As the reigning Olympic gold medalist comes in to give her thoughts.
I feel like they can chase things around here. I think if this was like in here, I would like it, but just because when we know this, we're only going to be in 12 foot, like if they ever have another one over here that they can chase. I like this.
That was a great discussion between the two. First of all, just making sure everybody's on board and is bought into the call. They talked about the different options that they had and what Team Quillian might be able to do to counter their move. So they've come to an agreement, and
yeah, it seemed like Dodds was all in when she left the conversation, which is exactly what you want. That's a good result. That's a tough double, and
well, it's a very tough double, and the double is there, but Team Quillian's rock would roll away, would roll out of the rings, and that would give the opportunity for Team Morrison to draw around one of the corner guards to score a possible deuce.
I think the call is just to stay on the face of it.
I believe so, because looking at the overhead camera, even that, the double, the way to make the double, that yellow rock may jam on the side of that red rock. That's just off the rings at the 3 o'clock position, as 9 o'clock position as you see it on the screen there. Once again, that 5-foot putt doesn't look so simple, does it?
No, it's got to keep your wits about you. She's throwing a fair bit of weight.
They're off and on, so that's a sign that it's very close to where they want to hit this rock. As she...
Very close.
So close to making it perfect.
Yeah. A little more weight. Oh, I'm not sure they could afford to hit it any thinner.
So the top yellow rock does not get removed from play. It is hanging on the side of the 12-foot. So now Team Morrison, with Rebecca Morrison throwing the 4 stones, skipped by Sophie Jackson. They are elected to call for a draw around the red corner guard. The key here, once again, as we talked about weight control, they don't want to see this rock slip behind the tee line. They want to make sure this stays above the tee line. So so that Team Quillian can't play a freeze to get out of this end.
Yeah, if you're thinking 2, you don't even need to worry about getting buried. But that one yellow rock that's sitting over in the rings is kind of difficult to get out. So you might as well take a shot at 3. And like you say, as long as you don't go behind the tee, leave a freeze, you'll be feeling pretty good. I doubt we'd see Quillian freeze on a rock that's too far above the tee. There's such a tough shot.
And she
Luxury
does
being up 2.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. She is up 2 points, so you know, I'm sure she will play it safe to make sure that they don't score more than 2.
Whoa! Let it come down! Curl if you can! Hard guard! Hard, Jen! Hard! Hard! Go, go, go!
Great sweep by Jennifer Dodds to accentuate the curl and put that rock perfectly behind the corner guard. Not very accessible. Now it is high in the rings. As you can see, Sylvie Quillian is looking at possibly playing a draw behind it. There's plenty of curl in this ice for that to be made.
Just from the camera angle, it looks gettable with board weight or hack weight.
Giving up 2 is fine. Yeah.
So it looks like board weight, do you think, Kevin?
Looking at that broom, max board weight.
Max board weight, so would that be a 10-5?
Oh, well, on this ice conditions, probably even 11, maybe 11-5.
All right.
As Kate Vandenberg was sweeping, now they've asked Darren Carmody to carve the rock to get some curl.
That's okay.
So not the result they're looking for. Just rubbed it, did not move it very much. So
Yeah, just because we haven't played
it
it
presents the
already,
opportunity for Team Morrison to draw into the rings for a 3rd point and to take the lead.
Yep, taking the same line as they just threw. Looked like a bit of an overthrow from Quillian on that one.
As Rebecca Morrison sets up to throw her final rock. She just threw this exact same rock in the exact same path on her previous shot, so she knows the weight. They know the line.
Okay, still don't have back end right now. Yeah, line's really good. Line's perfect.
And never in doubt, so that's 3 points for Team Morrison in the 4th end here. So they take the lead 3-2, and we'll be right back after these short messages.
We started Neon Train to help get small and medium-sized organizations online to transform their learning and make their programs more effective. Our team of learning experts will work with you to understand your budget, project scope, and learning goals. It's so rewarding when our clients say to us, I now have more time to focus on my business. I now have more time to put into my learners. I now have more time to spend with my family. Reach out today and start your organization's learning transformation.
Welcome back to the Stu Sells 1824 Halifax Classic as we start the fifth end of our one of our women's semifinals, presented by Neon Train. A big 3-end in the last end has given Team Morrison the lead. Other sponsors that we'd love to highlight because of their generous support and donations to help our curling community have such successful events, to have teams from various regions of Canada and from the world. We have 2 teams from Scotland in the women's event. We have a team from South Korea in the men's event. And then in past events, we've had teams from Switzerland. We've had teams from Italy. We've had teams from the United States. I believe I think we even had some Japan teams here before in the past. This is a very, very international event, high quality curling. So it's great to have that, and these sponsors are very important. For the men's event, the presenting sponsor, Steel Subaru, and for the women's event, Neon Train. We have our partner sponsors, the Curling Store, Crombie Wright, Scotia Square, the Murphy Hospitality Group, the PEI Brewing Company, and our supporting sponsors, Stanhope Simpson Insurance and the Stu Sells Realty.
Fantastic to have their support. I think I'm purveyor of almost every sponsor here, Kevin. Being a Subaru driver, Neon Train supporter, Curling Store, once a year go in to get a broom, some more broom fabric, just one. That's all I wear out each season, Kev. Scotia Square.
Are you a skip, Glenn?
I'm not sweeping like these players are, that's for sure. But yeah, and Stu Sells, the special call out to Stu Sells. They're all over the country sponsoring many teams and really bringing curling through streaming and sponsorship to a bunch of people who enjoy watching it. So count me in. I really appreciate that from Stu Sells.
Stuart Sankey, who is Stu Sells, has a series. This is one. He has one here in Halifax, of course, but the majority of his series is in Ontario, and these, I can't remember exactly how many there are, but there are quite a few, and I think he even has a junior with his series. He does have a junior event as well. So Stuart has been a wonderful supporter and an innovator to get streaming into the games at a tournament level, not just at national championship level.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not just sitting here waiting for the big events that might be on the big broadcasters. We get to see great curling as it's being played weekend after weekend.
So as we're in the thick of it here in the fifth end, after scoring 3 and taking the lead, Team Morrison elected to stay on the offense by calling the center guard right away. And now all the rocks have, the other 3 rocks after that have all been asked to come around. So now they're jockeying for position around that button area.
Where do you want that? Yeah, you want to like cross the yellow hair. Okay.
Say, even though it's 2-1 red versus yellow in the house, I think yellow is set up best. And of course, we got one more yellow coming down here now. So if they can get another one just over curling on the yellow that's already in there, it'll be a nice setup. Good shot.
That is a very good shot. To give you some updates on our games here on sheet 4 between Team Henderson and Team Black. I'm not sure if you can see Glenn there. I believe it's tied 2-2 after the fourth. A single by Henderson in the fourth ties that game up on sheet 2 between Team Weybrook and Team Tremblay. Team Weybrook took 1 in the third to tie 3-3, but Tremblay in the fourth got their deuce back, so it's now 5-3 for Team Tremblay after 4. And over on sheet 1, after a 3 spot in the second end for Team Jung out of South Korea, they stole 1 in the third to go up 4-0, and now at the end of the fourth, Team Steel was successful in getting 1 of those points back, so it's now 4-1 for Team Jung after 4.
Team Morrison will play a couple of guards. Let's see if one is just slightly off, you could might be able to come in and move one of those yellows slightly off the forefoot. At some point, Quillian will have to figure out how to get a red run in there somewhere. She'll definitely want to score, if not try to generate a deuce. But last end she was going this way. She figured out how to get a couple of yellows off the forefoot and turn it into a deuce nicely on her last 4 shots. Could play hack weight and hit that yellow and stay on the face of it, sacrifice the back red one a little bit. Don't even have to move it out. Just change up those angles. Yeah, just like she's saying there.
That's what Marie Christian was seeing from the hack as she's preparing to throw. So they've come down to make sure they discuss this option and exactly how to play this.
Make sure we stay here.
That's a good. Yeah. Also,
It's great to see the whole team down there discussing it, because not like the past where it was the skip made all the calls and on occasion he has the third to come down to advise him, but now it's a whole team effort as they talk strategy, and it's important for all players to know what the call exactly is, because the sweepers play a very, very important role to make sure that rock gets put in that proper position.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone has great input. Gone are the days when the lead or the second stone makes the move towards the house and the skip waves them off like the pitcher would the catcher. Don't need your help. Those days are over. For better or for worse.
Yes.
So they talked it through, going with the same shot. Run through, try to get one of those yellows out.
My apologies on the update on sheet 1. I was looking at that sheet. I thought that Team Steel scored 1, but I was in error. Team Jung stole a point in the fourth end, so now they leave 5-0 after 4.
Good shot by Marie Christensen. That opens things up. No more frozen rocks. Even though there'll be 3 yellows here in a second, there'll be doubles and hit and rolls available to get a little offense going for Team Quillian. So good shot. And a red guard that can be promoted if needed as well.
They'll be at the Scotia Centre in May of 2025, so they'll look at getting tickets there. Some great classic rock too.
Sorry,
Yeah,
didn't really come off
totally.
back.
Yeah, very true.
Which one's higher, Sylvie?
as the team discusses how they want to play their next shot.
I know, it's like we're wasting time, but oh my gosh, I just can't hear anything. Oh my word.
Yeah, you could hit and roll, but you're probably rolling underneath there. It's not. You got to throw a lot of weight to hit the double on the one that's a little deeper in the house. You could take the more straightforward double on the two on the right-hand side as we're looking at it at the overhead cam. Might be tempting to do that.
So let's do that. No.
You just have to make a perfect roll if you're going to hit and try to get behind the guard.
Like at least it's a little breathing room.
Without a perfect roll, T. Morrison will be able to get at it.
I think so, yeah.
There's a nice little wall there. There's a school of thought of saying you run the red center guard into the pocket of those two yellows and
Yeah, I do. It was my first
keep it open and get rid of a couple of yellows. You still got a few rocks, possibly manufacture deuce.
Yeah, I'll stay close.
So they've elected to come down with a light takeout weight to try to get to the nose and slightly roll under the center guard with the rock that is on the right-hand side as you see it on your screen as it comes into view.
Good shot. It leaves a fairly straightforward shot where things will just look really similar to they just did. So let's see. There's a little bit buried there, though, I think, Kev.
Just a touch, yeah. About an inch of the rock is under cover.
Yeah.
Don't think they can roll underneath, but that's also not the call that they're making at this point. They're just looking to hit as much of it as they can and stay right in front.
Yeah. May not even want to roll underneath. If the Team Quillian hits and rolls off the other one, there'd be an angle. Although rolling away that far probably wasn't ideal.
Now they did roll to the right-hand side. So that'll give Aaron Carmody here an opportunity to hit and roll right underneath the center guard without and making it hard for them to get at the red one off their own yellows.
Good throw.
Yeah, we've seen Sophs curl a hair more at 11. We can
Just
afford to
struggling a
get
little bit with handling the straight and the curl with their takeout weights, trying to get into that right spot to make the perfect roll.
Okay.
Yeah, probably a hair too much weight on that spot to get the roll. Might be if Quillian gets a deuce, it'll be the skip's deuce that makes it happen.
But one of the important things is that Sylvie should have a shot for one with hammer, which is important. At this point, you don't want to give up a steal. That will give T. Morrison a good control over the game.
Yeah, tie game. Anything can happen.
Yeah, so as we were talking about the scenario being down one with hammer, and you don't want to give up a steal. You want to make sure if you can get a deuce, great. But a single is important. you know, scoreboard management has always been a part of our game forever, but with the introduction of analytics now, it's become more to the come to the forefront as to, you know, what is your percentage of winning in this situation, in this end, with hammer, without hammer. So there's a lot of analysis, a lot of information out there that teams have now to their for their usage and how they want to take that data and apply to their team DNA, their team strategy.
Yeah, it's really neat, and it'll definitely come into play as the 6th, 7th, and 8th end come along, and then we'll see where we get to in the 8th. But there's always the thought of, do you want to be one up without or one down with? And it seems most people want to have the hammer, even if they're one down, but the percentages say you're not going to win as many games in that
That
situation.
is correct.
Yeah. Do you like the nose again? Do you like the nose again? I like it.
But the first thing you have to do before you can use analytics is you got to make sure you're throwing the rock great and putting rocks in the right position.
Absolutely. I look at all 8 of these players, and the mechanics are flawless. The communication is flawless. The sweeping and fitness is top notch. I'm not sure I'm qualified to judge anybody on any of those factors. The outfits look sharp. Another thing I probably shouldn't.
That is an important part,
have
though.
any experience with. Yeah.
You know, a good-looking uniform can provide some confidence to the team. Sometimes a uniform could be an intimidation factor to the opposition.
Oh, we used to call them scare sweaters back in the day. Throw a few patches on there, and even if it's a zone win, it proves you got some credibility. Nice shot.
Okay, so Rebecca Morrison makes the nose hit. They're line 3, Team Morrison. And now that's forcing Team Sylvie Quillian to draw the forefoot for a single point to try to tie this game up after the 5th end.
Yeah, for Sylvie, it'll be, don't worry about what you see in the house. It's just an intern draw to the forefoot. Pretty typical stuff that a skip might face, but when you're looking at 3 yellows and a little bit of a port, that can kind of cloud your senses a bit, when really it's just see broom, hit broom, throw right weight. Be good.
Sweepers is just watching it come into the rings. So that rock goes a little bit deeper than they wanted to. Looks like it's a steal of 2 yellow stones for Team Morrison from Scotland. So that'll take our score to 5-2 after 5 ends, and we'll be right back after this short message.
We started Neon Train to help get small and medium-sized organizations online to transform their learning and make their programs more effective. Our team of learning experts will work with you to understand your budget, project scope, and learning goals. It's so rewarding when our clients say to us, I now have more time to focus on my business. I now have more time to put into my learners. I now have more time to spend with my family. Reach out today and start your organization's learning transformation.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Stu Sells 1824 Halifax Classic. As we just finished the 5th end with a steal of 2 by Team Morrison out of Stirling, Scotland, increasing their lead to a 3-point lead, 5-2. as this thing gets started, just want to highlight a few of the wonderful things that are happening here in the Halifax and Nova Scotia area. First of all, if you for anybody that hasn't been to this curling club, this beautiful curling club, it's a 4-sheet venue that has an interesting numbering system. They go by 1, 8, 2, 4 to number their sheets, and that's because of the year that this club was incorporated. So this club has a fantastic year of activities planned to celebrate their 200th anniversary. You know, and it you know, it has a large history. It's also one of the oldest active clubs in the country. So that's one of the things that's celebrating on here. Also, Nova Scotia is going to be host to not 1, not 2, but 3 Olympic qualifying events. First one here is at the end of this year, between Christmas and into New Year's and right after that, and that's the Canadian Mixed Doubles Curling Trials, December 30th, January 4th, at the Liverpool, in Liverpool, Nova Scotia, at the Americentre. So, you know, great opportunity to come watch who will be representing Canada at the next Olympics in Italy. Then next year, from October 20th to the 26th, we have the pre-trial. So I believe that's qualifying the last team for the actual trials event. That's going to be held in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, hosted by Acadia University. So that's a great opportunity to come to see who's going to be that last team into the final grouping. And then a month after that, from November 22nd to the 30th, at the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax, Nova Scotia, we have the 4-person curling Canadian curling trials. So that's always a fun event, to have the best teams in our country battling it out to see who's going to wear that maple leaf, on top of the 5 Olympic rings.
It's fantastic. The Olympics run through Nova Scotia, all of them, and the teams talk about passion. Everybody will be hyped up, raring to go. It's really what they spent 4 years preparing for. The communities of Liverpool, Wolfville, and Halifax always put on good shows, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to take in all
Absolutely.
this great
Tickets are on sale already for all 3 events, and they're going fast. So if you're interested, just go to Curling Canada's homepage. That's curling.ca, and you'll find a tab where to buy tickets for any of those 3 events. So we'd love to host you again. That's one of our specialties, is hosting people from away. So
it's always a good time. Yep, come from away. We like it.
From away. So with a 3-point deficit, Team Quillian is now trying to generate a multiple point end here. Team Morrison put their first 2 rocks into the top 4 foot. Team Quillian has a corner guard, now just came around with Kate Vandenborre's final lead stones into the full 8 foot, fully buried.
Then you just leave the head and roll.
So Sophie Jackson's really trying to think this one through. Because of that perfectly placed stone by Kate Vandenborre and Team Quillian, it's very hard to chase. So now they're looking, do they freeze to it? Do they put a guard onto their yellow stones in the 12 or in the 4 foot along the center line?
Top 8.
And they ended up coming, they're going to go right into the house, top 8 foot on the center line. Her worry here is, leaving a hit and roll behind the corner guard, which is a legitimate concern, Glenn.
Absolutely. I think both teams feeling okay. A little anxious from Quillian's perspective that there's 2 yellows in the 4 foot. A little anxious from Morrison's perspective that there's a red one undercover on the sides.
And Team Morrison cannot play a takeout on the red corner guard due to the 5-rock free guard zone. 5 rocks must be thrown before that's eligible. And now that this is the 5th rock of the end, on their next shot, if they opt to, that is an option for them.
I saw a nose hit, take 2, and the 2 reds will be fairly far apart.
Good call, Glenn. Now, being down 3, would you ever, seeing how it's still very early in the, would you ever play a freeze into the pocket of those 2 yellow stones?
Yes, I would. You're right. Down 3, 6 end, getting a little late in the game, and it's so early in the end. You got lots of opportunity to deal with those yellows. So really, you're just looking to get reds in unremovable situations, which the freeze would do.
Okay. Sit. That's fine.
They just stop here.
So the stone by Marie Christensen, just a little full of the target. She does make contact with the yellow stone, removes one from play, but does roll all the way to the edge of the 12-foot for 4-shot stone. Being up 3 points, Sophie Jackson's not going to play anything crazy here. She's just going to play it safe and just remove Red's rocks as easily as she can.
Yeah, keep eliminating. The one undercover will be a little tougher. She'll worry about that when that's the one to deal with. But for now, just keep eliminating.
We have a final on sheet 1. I'm not sure what the end result was in N5, but the rocks have been pushed back. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Team Jung won that game as they were up 5-0 playing that 5th end. So I believe they did secure a victory to go into the finals later this afternoon.
Nice.
A good run by Colton Steele's team, but it seems to have come to an end.
It's just if we land here, if they off, this goes this way.
Yeah, I don't.
So I think it's better to do this.
Sheet 2, I think he gets 3 spot.
Yeah, just nose. Yeah, same way.
Yeah, and sheet 2, Kevin, looks like Moybrook got 3 in the 5th, so is now up 6-5 with Tremblay having last rock in the 6th.
Okay, so the double was made by Marie Christensen. So now yellow is still shot rock, but Team Quillian's red stones, she has 2 of them in there. Setting up for, looking to score multiple points. So 2 is in play right now, which is still a good result.
2's in
6
play.
Gets you right back into the game.
Yeah, 2 for sure, but if Team Morrison has a bit of a hiccup, then they can get a second rock behind that corner guard, and a 3 could be in the mix.
It's difficult to jam, but it is there. It could roll back up, but it's difficult to jam. Like, you have to roll back up a hair. Like, intern a hair low. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Intern a hair low, I heard. Not
So
even
they
sure
want
it
to
knows.
roll it closer to the yellow stone?
Well, I think they're trying to roll to be second shot. I'm not
Okay.
convinced that's as critical as just the nose hit should be fine as well, I would think over there. Say that, and then Quillian would hit and roll, sit 1 and 2 buried, but hit and stick for sure if you roll in a little bit. Ideal. There you go. That's what was asked for.
She did roll in a little bit, but I don't think she got second shot out of that. But they won't be upset with that, I don't think.
No, it's a good shot.
I don't hate that. I don't hate the draw.
I think this is a good opportunity for Sylvie and her team, as she just indicated there. Play a little hit and roll behind the corner guard off the one on the top forefoot. That would put a lot of pressure on Team Morrison to counter 2 rocks that will be behind a corner guard.
Yeah, you could hit and roll.
Okay. I like the hit and roll then. You can come here too.
Sylvie did tap a draw as one of the options as well around the corner, which is a nice aggressive call. A nose hit, I know Sylvie's saying that might be a double, but that's a thin double.
That is a very thin double.
Nose is good too.
All right. '98 Olympic final. Who did Mike Harris lose to?
I know that one.
Kevin, what do you got?
It's Patrick Hurleyman out of Switzerland.
Yes, it is. Out of Switzerland.
Yes.
Whose daughter, Briar
Briar
Hurley,
Hurleyman.
played this event.
Yes. That's correct.
Streams interactive. Very fun.
Good call, Kev, on trivia question.
Well, I have a little insight on that. I used to live in Switzerland, so I know Patrick Hurleyman and his family. So
All
he
right, you were a plant.
He's a friend of mine, so that's one I'll never forget. Who won '98 Olympic? Just for our viewers that might be confused, our corresponding analyst on sheet number 4, calling the men's semifinal, was asking a trivia question. Has asked for what we think the answer was.
Yeah. Thank goodness you had it.
Prathan. The quarter.
So they did play for this hit and roll, but just got a little bit toward nose, which they had predetermined was an acceptable outcome.
They do if we play this and don't make this one.
It does look like red is counting 2 stones right now. If my eyes are not playing tricks on me, what do you think, Glenn?
I'm with you on that. So the shots are a slash double or just a plain old-fashioned nose. Slash double is a little hard. A dead jam would be bad news. So it's just keeping it simple. When you're up, you want your team to have easy shots. and
Sophie
the other team
Jackson
to have
asked
hard shots.
for curl out of her hand right away by Rebecca Morrison. She gets the nose hit. Now I think this is a great opportunity to, in my opinion, if I was skipping, I think I would probably go for that in-turn draw around the corner guard to lie 1 and 2.
Yeah, this is definitely a do not hit zone. So
I just thought that'd be easier.
you could draw around the corner. You could draw around either one of those yellows. Just make it look a little tougher.
You want to throw the same way?
Now, one thing the hit and roll on the top yellow does is open up the path to the button if required.
Yep, it was good.
The yellow guard being so high, do we think we can chase around
Yeah,
it,
boy.
attack the line?
Yep. 10-2.
Don't stop, go hard! Hard!
Darren.
Hey, that's fine.
So this rocked over, curled, and hit and rolled out.
Yeah, there's still one red behind cover, but it leaves
And it is shot stone.
his shot stone. You could freeze, or you could do a run through.
Ideally, Team Morrison, they would love to try to force Team Quillian into a single, but they're also looking. that they're up 3 points, so they just don't want to make sure they don't give up any more than they do. So even peeling off this corner guard will help protect about anything more than 2 being scored here, barring a unforced error.
Yeah, they're definitely favoring the run through. Haven't even hinted that they might play the freeze, so I think they're on the same page as you, Kev. Worst case is peel the guard and have an open shot to hold to 2.
So do you just want to single?
So they're just talking when they say, do you just want the single? That's them just talking about just doing the straight peel of the corner guard.
Yeah, you could just miss, nose hit the corner, just miss the back one, or hit the back one right on the nose and leave it under cover. Say most teams these days would go for the double and take the chance there.
You like the intern then?
Good weekend, Robbie.
This looks like ice for the peel. Kev, they might
I
have
believe
settled
they
on just
did.
taking.
They did come to the conclusion that I think they just wanted to just take the guard off, single elimination. They're quite content with potentially giving up 2 points and keeping a lead with Hammer going into the 7th end.
Yeah, that's we've seen a few moments of patience on each side that have paid off. So not going to argue, although this is interesting.
But it really doesn't change much, except for the potential that Sylvie's got to put her rock. She's obviously going to be playing a takeout on this, but she has to roll into a spot to make it very difficult for a double takeout.
Yeah, that's right. It's just a little too late to be able to do anything with the freeze on that yellow one, so hit and roll away.
I'm like, where did it go?
Hello and welcome back. At number 7 here, 6-6 tie in the semifinal between Moybrook and Tremblay. I'm giggling because we had a little bit of
Seems to be a little bit of debris under her rock that she wants to make sure it's fully clear from the running surface.
That's some fantastic curling, some tough situations, but both teams feeling like they could be playing a little bit better here on Sunday morning at the Halifax Curling Club. Looking, one of these teams will be joining Team Young in the final at 2 p.m. For the 224 of you that are joining me on the Scoreboard, thank you for tuning in. Finally, like I said, it's 2 hours from now. You're welcome to join us in person.
Kate Vandenborg sweeping hard to try to get hold the line and get a roll.
Real good.
Great shot.
Great shot. The double is still there. The double would have always been there, but they have created some more separation between the 2 red rocks, which will just increase the degree of difficulty slightly.
And even if we just roll over here and make her play a shot, it's okay. Okay.
If you have a favorite brunch spot, chime in the chat. Let me know where you're going. If you're not joining us for brunch, let me know where you got brunch today. Your father's mustache, one of my personal favorites. One of your favorite Halifax brunch spot, or maybe somewhere else. Market.
Not a lot of ice. Well, maybe she's playing the intern. There we go. Perfect amount of ice.
So it'll be Moybrook and Hammer here at end number 7. Julian Tremblay playing a high center guard to start, and
Lead.
Steele coming just to the back.
Whoa. Yep. Yep.
A little bit
Oh, so close. Just rolled underneath the red stone. So that leaves the house wide open for Sylvie Quillian and her squad to draw for the second point. Just got to touch any part of that paint.
It's neat that Sylvie asked the front end which side they like, because it really is, sweepers have the best sense of it, and they can tell if there's flat spots or a side that's the pebble's not
exactly
quite worn down, or
the
whatever your
sweepers
preference is.
the sweepers have a bigger role than people might think. They just don't listen for the skip to call sweep, and they sweep. They're watching the running pass all throughout the games. They're timing rocks to see if the ice has changed, if it's slowed down or sped up or this and that. There's a huge role that those players play. So, you know, the value that they add is tremendous.
Oh yeah, but the best part of the game is when the skip tries to call wait and the sweepers ignore them, and the sweepers are correct. That's my favorite part of a curling game.
You're welcome. As to let in, I play second stone for Glenn, so thanks, Glenn. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you being correct.
So without any doubt, second stone goes right to the 4 foot. And Team Quillian scores 2 to get within 1 point. So it's now, after 6 ends, 5-4 for Team Morrison out of Scotland against Team Quillian out of New Brunswick. And we'll be back right after this commercial break to bring you the 7th end.
Talented Kevin Ouellette, Glenn McLeod over on sheet number 8, giving you the Quillian Morrison games.
Still like 16-5 for the guard.
And we're back. Team Morrison versus Quillian in the women's semifinals. 7th end, Morrison up 1 with the hammer, so has command position. Team Quillian putting up is likely to be the first of 2 center guards that they'll put up. There is an option here to try to play a tick and move that one away from the center. Looks like that's what they're going for.
5-13, Ike. Oh, it's close.
This is a fun shot
12-5.
for everybody to play. You need to have the right weight, the right line, a little bit of opportunity for the leads to show off their skills.
Clean.
Now they pick it up. Right to the back one. Oh, that's fantastic. Just kiss it.
It's close. This is where the skip needs to show off her sweeping skills. Nicely swept by Sylvie Quillian. Now they look to see for any rock rings they can use to replace the rock. A little more towards the center line, teammates are saying. There you go.
Question for you, Glenn. I'm not sure you have the answer. Maybe it's just more of a thought here. You know, with the introduction of the no tick rule, I'm quite curious as to how many teams are now practicing the tick shot, as the opportunity there is not as prevalent as it used to be.
Yeah, definitely spending a little more time making sure you understand releases and slide angles that get you to the center line every time when you're a lead. It used to be get close and you'd be feeling pretty good, and then spend some time working on the ticks so that you can use that in at the later ends. So although it's not going to be used quite as much, when it presents itself, you really want to be able to take advantage of it. So you're probably not practicing it quite as much, but you don't want to leave it untouched, because when it is there, like look at this, we got 2 shots in the 7th end where the tick will come into play. You definitely want to have a feel and a game plan on how you're going to do it. So for some folks it's a hack waiter, for others it's a back line, sometimes it's the over curl, sometimes it's the throw into it. So a little less, but you definitely want to keep that tool sharp in the toolkit. This is a double chance. You could tick the front one, and if you miss it, you could tick the back one.
So they did call for the tick shot on the rock that was tighter to the rings, and perfectly executed by Sophie Jackson and squad.
Yep, good shot.
I mean, like if we're sitting 2 in the ring, yeah, I don't mind that for now.
Now a decision needs to be made by Sylvie and her team as they play cat and mouse. Do you go for the steal and potentially force Morrison to a single? You could also hit out here to lie 2, but it is very early in the end. That's also a way of forcing them, but you'd have to be perfectly on your execution all the way through the end to maintain those 2 rocks in the rings.
That's it. It's like you play an open end, you think I'm going to have easy shots, but that means every shot has to be made 100%. When you get a few rocks in play, get a couple guards going, you get a few more options. I like this call. I'd stay aggressive. A steal or a force by playing towards the center is good. If things get broken down here in the center, you try to always sit 2 and force Morrison to take a 1. You take 2 in the 8th and go hard for your steal in the extra.
And with the shot that they're calling in that yellow rock on the side of the 12-foot, if she, she's obviously going for the double peel on the center guards, but if she's ever full and it hits it on the thin side, that may jam onto the yellow rock as well. So it's not as simple as it looks from the angles.
Oh, Kevin, you might have predicted it. Oh, close.
Okay, I won't go buy a lottery ticket yet. So a quick update on sheet 2 and the other men's semifinal in the 6th end. Team Tremblay was forced to a single point, so that game is all tied at 6 going into the 7th, with Team Mooiebrook maintaining the hammer. And on sheet 4, Team Black scored 1 in the 5th end to go up 3-2. They are just finishing a couple more rocks here in the 6th end, and we'll give you an update to see how that the results from that end unfold. So Marie Christensen looking to come around the center guard. Comes up a little shy, but you know what? It's still acting like a guard for them, so they won't be too upset with that.
Oh, not bad. It's a pretty thin double peel.
Yeah. No,
Great shot.
That was a great shot.
All right, on to strategy B. Split the rings, sit 2, and try to hold Morrison to take a single.
Sophie Sinclair can definitely throw a lot of weight, which is very helpful in getting rid of those rocks that tight and then with those angles.
Yeah, that was power and accuracy to get rid of those two.
Now, without any center guards, the Team Quillian has changed the strategy a bit. Now they're going to hit and stick on the yellow rock that's off to the side to lie two. It's getting later in the ends, and they're not seeing an opportunity for the steal, so they are looking to make it simplified. But unfortunately, an unforced error by the team. They rub the rock, but they do not remove it from play, so gives the opportunity for Sophie Jackson to call a hit and stick into the rings to lie two and score multiple points. So it went from one scenario to the next in the matter of a couple of seconds.
Yeah, that's a tough shot, but this can put Team Morrison in a pretty nice position here. It looks good from my angle. Very nice.
Yep, and those rocks are equally apart and far apart, equally above the tee line and far apart, so there's absolutely no double opportunity for Team Quillian out of the Curl Moncton Club in New Brunswick. Just to give you an update on sheet 4, Team Henderson made a double run back stick 4-2 in the sixth end. So they are now currently up 4-3 against Team Black from here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Just to update, Team Black is only playing with 3 today because Christina Black, the skip of the team, she and her teammates took a flight out last night to St. Catharines, Ontario, as they are representing Nova Scotia at the Canadian Mixed Championships that start today. So good luck to them and to all the other teams that are participating.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of folks not here because of mixed doubles. Christina having to take off because of the Canadian mix. Like, there's a lot of national events now that people can pick from to chase, and you have decisions. Like I think I remember Brendan Botcher saying he couldn't start right away with Brad Gushu in his new role because he wanted to play mixed doubles, or committed to play mixed doubles with Rachel Homan.
So in the previous shot, Team Quillian executed a great hit and roll, like they called. And then Team Morrison tried to hit and stick, but they hit and rolled out. So, a half shot there, and now the end has changed again. That looks like it's a potential blank here.
Yeah, at this stage, both teams would be relatively happy with the blank. For Quillian, it just means they'll go steal if they're going to find a path to win. And for Morrison, they'll have last rock in the lead going into the last end, which is, if you map it out in the first end, you'd say, I'll take it.
Yes. This is Sylvie's first stone here in the seventh end, playing a hit and stick or even hit and roll towards the center line, but she does want to stay into the rings.
9-5.
Kate is trying to get a carve on it, try to get some curl. Not enough to get the nose hit and stick, but she did carve it enough to make sure that the yellow stone was removed from play.
Good enough.
And now Sophie Jackson and Team Morrison, they're going to discuss where do they want to put this rock to give the biggest challenge for Sylvie and her squad.
Well, that, and where does Morrison want to play her blank? So does she have a preference? The odds of Sylvie missing are low. I guess she could hit and roll out. More difficult the shot is, which makes Morrison's blank as easy as it possibly could be. But she's throwing an out turn to the wings, which tends to set up for an in-turn peel on her last shot. So I don't know if she's thinking what will make Sylvie shot hard or what will make my blank.
So Glenn, would you ever consider, you know, even though it's a 7th end and we're going the opposite direction, but throwing a rock down the path to the button just as a practice for what you might possibly have to throw in the next end?
I would consider that. It depends how you feel about draw weight and how the paths are. It's a great opportunity for a pretty low risk chance to see what the ice is going to be like.
So no mistake from Rebecca Morrison, sorry. And she drew right to the spot they were looking for over on the edge of the 12-foot on the left-hand side. Sylvie Quillian with her sweepers, Kate Vandenborre and Erin Carmody, looking to make a nose hit as Marie Christensen will call the line.
Looks a little wide to start.
Curl has been requested, so they're using the knifing technique by Erin Carmody to try to get the rock to curl a little bit more. She makes contact but does roll out of play, so this is a, for lack of a better term, a free throw.
Free throw. You can still learn a little bit from these, though, Kev.
Absolutely. So as this rock is getting ready to be delivered, want to do another shout out to our wonderful sponsors throughout this week, and for most of them throughout the 7 years that this has been happening for the men's and the 4 years that this event has been happening in the women's division. We have our presenting sponsors in the men's event, Steel Subaru, in the women's event, Neon Train. We also have our partner sponsors, the Curling Store, Crombie Wright, Scotia Square, the Murphy's Hospitality Group, and PI Brewing Company, and of course our supporting sponsors, Stanhope Simpson Insurance and Stu Sell Realty. So successful throw through, so no change in the score, and we'll be back right after this to call the ever exciting 8th end.
We started Neon Train to help get small and medium-sized organizations online to transform their learning and make their programs more effective. Our team of learning experts will work with you to understand your budget, project scope, and learning goals. It's so rewarding when our clients say to us, I now have more time to focus on my business. I now have more time to put into my learners. I now have more time to spend with my family. Reach out today and start your organization's learning transformation.
And we're back here for the 8th end of the semifinals of the Stu Sells 1824 Halifax Classic, the women's semifinals between Team Quillian from Curl Moncton and Moncton, Nova Scotia, Moncton, New Brunswick. Got to get my geography correct here. And between Team Morrison, skipped by Sophie Jackson from Stirling, Stirling, Scotland. I think I need to take a break here. I think you got to take over, Glenn.
Yeah, we'll get the globe out and do a little refresher for you.
So, you know, with Team Morrison up 1 with hammer, it's quite simple for Team Quillian. They need to steal a 1 point minimum. Looking to steal 2 for the win, but they need to steal 1. So, of course, the center guard went up, and without any error, Kate Vandenborre put it right on the middle of the center line, so that rock cannot be removed off the center line. So it's a great start for Team Quillian.
Yeah, very important to both be touching the center line and either be deep or high, so that you can put 2 relatively far apart up the middle. That's a good shot. It didn't matter if it was buried or not. Sylvie's always going to put up a second center.
I had the privilege of coaching Kate Vandenborg last year in a women's team. She played out here in Nova Scotia, and what a fantastic teammate that she is, a fantastic person and a fantastic thrower. So, lots of great things to say about her, and Team Quillian is very, very fortunate to have her on the squad.
Well, she did her job perfectly here in under the pressure of the 8th end. So good on her. It might be you could come around the same turn, or as they've called it, come around the other side. Anything but behind the button. I shouldn't say anything, but behind the button is deadly, so you can't do that. But you can make it a little more difficult for Quillian to get one in there.
So to update the other men's semifinal on sheet 2, Team Sam Moribrook put up a big 3-ender in the 7th end after being tied 6-6. So they are now up 9-6, going home into the 8th end. So big task ahead for Team Tremblay to try to match that, to take it to an extra end, or to outdo that and score 4 for the win.
Well, I think last night they scored 3 to win, so they know how to get
that is correct.
points in the 8th.
So Team Quillian will be very happy with this setup right now. Even though those yellow rocks are in front of the tee line, they are accessible for some freezes that'll help protect the rocks from being removed. They got 2 center line guards.
Starting to make a right-hand turn. Good shot.
Very good shot. That's a sign of the fantastic conditions here, because at one point they were calling curve and then right away they're calling straight. So that's just a testament to the amount of curl they have here and how precise you have to be, not just with your weight control, but your line, calling the line, knowing where that break point is.
So we got a double peel attempt here, or maybe a single peel.
Yep, so as expected, Sylvie's just going to replace that center guard. It's still early in the end. They don't need to move any of those stones as of yet.
No, we might see guard peel a couple times, and then Sylvie's probably the one that has to decide when it's time to bring things back into the house.
And then we might be surprised and Sophie Jackson makes a call before we expect it.
Yeah, there definitely would be a double peel for the taking if the guards aren't perfectly aligned.
So they're calling a 2. That is a numbering system that many teams use, not all of them, to tell the person holding the broom how deep it is, how much speed is on there. It's usually on a 1 to 11. So a 1, 2, 3 is a 1's high guard, 2's middle guard, 3's tight guard, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are the spots in the rings, top 12, top 8, top 4, T line, and then going sequentially to the back 12 foot, and then 11 is just through. So that's one of the systems that's been used for probably about a little over 20 years now.
Is it true that Randy Furby gets 10 cents every time someone yells out a number indicating where the rock's going to end up?
No.
I haven't seen the patent on that, so I'm not sure, but it's very possible.
Sorry, good throw.
As you predicted, Glenn, guard went up,
Down there, I think if we
peel
keep the yellow,
came,
like half of
guard's
it,
going up again.
both the yellows will go and the red will stay. I think so.
These high guards, you as a skip, you might just want to take a hair less ice because it's going to travel less, meaning it's going to curl less. So we'll see if this one gets right on top of that other one or not. Looks to have a little tighter line.
Line only. Line's fine on its own. Just the one. Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, it's all good. Nice shot, Aaron.
Nice.
Perfect. Sometimes it's scary for the sweepers to try to just get it over the hog line. They get a little anxious, but another testament to the ice conditions where no one seemed to panic on that one.
Clean. Good, Jen.
Sorry, so it just looked like I was taking a real dive. I was like, yeah.
In the fourth end of the other women's semifinal between Team Henderson from Scotland and Team Black from Halifax. I'm improving my geography. Team Black scored a single point in the seventh, so it's all tied at 4. So Team Henderson's coming home in the eighth end with the last rock.
No doubt Christina Black is hitting refresh, refresh, refresh. See how this game's going to play out.
You know, as a competitor, you know, there's been the odd time where I couldn't be at a game, and that is probably some of the most frustrating, anxious times, wondering how your team is doing. And, you know, especially in a very, very close game of an important game like a semifinals, like, you know, you want to be there, but you have other commitments at the same time.
Yeah, sometimes real life gets in the way. This has a double peel potential on it.
And even if she runs that second guard into the pile in the rings, I don't think she'll be too upset with that whatsoever. It's those guards that are the ones that are going to hurt her in the long run for Team Morrison. So they're going to try to remove both of them, or at least get them out of the guard area, pushing one possibly into the rings. So we are now at Skips Rocks here. So what decision are we going to have from Team Quillian here?
Draw to the 4-foot that side. You could tap the red. It'll chip off the yellow, but really thinking about your shooter, red would be in a really good position.
What about just like getting as much as the yellow? I think that's what they're calling right now. Just getting as much as the yellow as they can and not disturbing the red-yellow on the right-hand side, and just keeping your red rock right in front.
Yeah, that'd be a good play. You'd have two reds that are somewhat used.
There wouldn't be a double takeout because the red will jam onto the yellow.
Right.
So they've opted to play a draw to the potentially the back 4-foot, just to get shot rock around the yellow rock that's in the 8-foot on the right-hand side, as you see it on your screen.
This will be interesting for Team Morrison. They may be able to play a yellow straight back. They may be able to angle the yellow on the other side into it, which would free up the red for Quillian, so you may not want to do that. There'll be an interesting setup here if Quillian can get one shot rock in the 4-foot.
Here comes Sylvie Quillian's first stone here in the 8th end, trying to draw around a yellow rock that's in the 8 foot, trying to get their red rock into the full 4 foot. Calling a 6, which is a top 4, 7's T line, 8's back 4 foot.
Just dove, eh? That's fine, Sylvie. Good.
But weight looked great, but just slightly over curled and rubbed the top yellow rock.
I think I like that.
Yeah. Should we do that?
You
Have to play off that,
Yeah,
but
you
it's
probably
not,
want to roll
we're
to here.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect. Yeah, I like it. Nose is okay. This is also okay, Becca. I like 10.
10.
So do you think we're trying to roll to here is ideal? Okay, 10.
Interesting setup. So that Team Quillian's likely to have a draw to get shot rock, but Team Morrison's likely to have a couple of short run backs or a little tap to the button regardless.
Air lower, air high. You might double jab, or you might go right by. Draw the 12 foot to tie the lead. So, Sam electing to play this, thinking about the big roll to the back of the 12 foot, getting buried behind the stagger, which is the best result, I think. However, if you only get to the center line, it just makes this double easier. Who knows this? It is definitely there. The double for 3. However, it is a long, long, long way. So tie.
Looks like we have a control weight hit and roll.
So that's going to be about a
Couple of staggers in the mix, but
Lead.
not hurting Morrison too much right now.
Whoa! Yeah, Carl. Whoa.
Good shot.
Really good spot.
That's a very good result for Team Morrison. Putting a lot of pressure on Team Quillian to put their rock in a very good spot for them to potentially try to steal a point.
I don't think you need to throw a board. I think you should need to like back 4.
play the out. About a third by Jean-Michel's room there.
What are you seeing, Glenn?
Well, you could just draw around the whole shooting match.
As Marie just indicated.
Yep.
Yeah, so they've called down the sweepers to help with the discussion to make sure they're looking at all their options and what is their best option.
You could tap the red, but if you're going to tap it and get shot rock, you got to move that yellow. Like depends how the angles look. You might need to throw not control weight, but board weight or hack weight because it's going to rattle around some yellows. But I think you could get shot rock that way with the right
You
weight.
can get your rock. You might even hit the backside of the yellow rock just by the C in curling on the Halifax Curling Club and push it up a little bit to maybe create a bit of a stagger guard situation. Makes it harder for the run back.
Yeah.
Or the tap back.
Yeah. So the angles, you want to have a good read of the angles just to make sure. No matter how you do it, you got to get shot rock, which I think means throwing a little bit of weight.
Ideally, if you could pick it up and draw it right behind the yellow red stagger for shot rock would be ideal, but it's not a very easy shot by any means.
No.
The easier shot is the one I think they're leaning towards right now, is playing some weight on their red rock that's corner frozen. Now, a much riskier shot, but some people that like to play the odds, they may take the big risk and play a run back on the red center guard and make a triple and lie two.
Yep, I bet you there would be a few teams that would do that because you could keep your center guard with that, I think. The way
should
it looks.
If you hit it properly, you should. Yes. We do have a final on sheet 4. I believe that Team Tremblay was attempting a cross-house double 4-3 to go the extra, but the handshakes came out, so I do not think he was successful at. So Team Muibrook has secured a victory to go into the finals against Team Jeong from South Korea. Here's Sylvie Quillian's final stone here in the 8th. She must get shot rock. As they're trying to get some curl into the stone. Wow, that is very close as to who was shot, but it looks like it'll be a fairly simple tap back by Team Morrison.
Good try, a little thicker. I think they would have got shot rock.
So Rebecca Morrison makes her way down the ice as she prepares to throw her final stone here in 8. All she has to do is just remove that red rock.
We want to hit it like here.
And the victory will be hers and a spot into the finals this afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Yep, anything but low. And even at low, you'd have to be super low.
And we're just assuming we can't tell who is shot rock right now.
You cannot.
Because if they were absolutely confident that yellow was shot, they would probably just throw this away. Would you say?
For sure. They'd be shaking hands if they had a clear shot rock. But
Lead. Whoa. Lead.
Always a great sign when the skipper is calling clean. And without a doubt, removes the red stone, counts 3, and earns her spot into the finals. Congratulations to Team Morrison for a great semifinal win, and to Team Quillian for a great battle out there today. So final score is 8-4, and we'll be back again at 2 o'clock for the semifinal match, or the finals match, sorry. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.
We started Neon Train to help get small and medium-sized organizations online to transform their learning and make their programs more effective. Our team of learning experts will work with you to understand your budget, project scope, and learning goals. It's so rewarding when our clients say to us, I now have more time to focus on my business. I now have more time to put into my learners. I now have more time to spend with my family. Reach out today and start your organization's learning transformation.
Hey, curling fans, I'm standing here in front of Sheet Stew here at the High Park Club, and I just want to let you know that I'm so excited to sponsor the sport of curling, to help curling out. So you can go to stewcurls.com, see all my events, see the Stew Sell series, but you know what? I also sell real estate as well. So you need to buy a house, list a house, condo, rental, business. Look, give me Stu a call.